Hello, and welcome to We Live for Saturday, your favorite college football podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike. With me, as always, is your other co-host, John. John, how you doing this evening?
Doing all right. I'm here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville,
Ooh.
not Knoxville, apparently.
Knoxville?
Everything's Knoxville. Asheville.
Really?
Vol.
Not Knoxville.
No.
It's
Not-
like
not-
when I
not if you're
found
from the
out it's
South.
Oregon and not Oregon.
Which now sounds weird to me when people say Oregon. Like,
Well,
I
you
know
just know they don't know the word.
Yeah, and I used to probably. I'm sure I said the same thing.
I said
you
it.
know,
I remember
yeah.
calling it Oregon Trail when we played that game in elementary school.
Yep, I'm sure I said the same. I was thinking about the same thing. So yeah, but yeah, everything around here is Vul, like VUL. So
Interesting.
But anyway, so yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm really close to where the Vols play. Speaking of the Vols, yeah, man. So it's it's a pretty college town. I gotta give it credit, man. You know, we're right downtown. It's nice. There's lots of little shops and coffee shops and restaurants and whatever. So it's cool. You know.
And when their fans aren't throwing things on the field during games, I'm sure it's delightful.
I'm sure it is. So I'm not going to a football game, but I am in
which is
town.
probably good because Tennessee, let's be real, you're one of the least respected fan bases in the country. I'm just gonna say it. Everyone thinks you guys are clowns. You know what you are? You're the Philadelphia Eagles of college football.
It's true.
That's who your fans are, and people don't respect it. Just so you know, if you happen to stumble upon this pod and you're watching Big Ten content for some reason, I want you to know that nobody respects your fan base. We think you're clowns.
Yeah. Well, we lost probably all of our maybe one or half of a
Vol
SEC
fan,
Tennessee Vol fan that was listening to the pod. So sorry.
I mean, I like to think that there are SEC people out here hate listening to the pod.
Could be. Yeah,
I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple comments from SEC fans in the chat, like not recently, but I have seen a couple comments over, from explicitly SEC fans in the past.
Yeah.
So it's happened.
And you're welcome to listen. Please, subscribe, follow.
Absolutely. Man, they're podcasters, SEC podcasters. Those guys get a lot of followers really quickly.
Oh yeah. It's amazing. Yeah,
dude. I was on a podcast last summer a couple of times with Uncle Lou, who's a blowhard. But I will say, he doesn't have another job.
Mm-hmm.
He makes his living on YouTube talking about college football 365.
Yeah, making things up, conspiracy theories, all kinds of stuff.
Yelling at people, using the R slur.
Yeah, screaming at the clouds. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He called me the R word on the air, and I kind of didn't know how to react to it.
Yeah,
I was like, "Are you 13?" I was like, "Who still says that? What year is it? Is it?" I was like, "It was in 1998." Like, what do you mean in the year of our Lord 2025 you still use the R word? Like, what are you talking about?
Well,
now we're really gonna lose listeners.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, probably. But I mean, like he seems like the kind of guy that was probably pretty tame for him. So
I'm sure, dude. I'm sure he says way. He also, you know what he did say that was more offensive? He said that was also offensive, and I thought I had a good clap back. But you tell me if this is funny or not. And he was like, "Oh, this guy, I can't remember what player." He was like, "He's playing like he's autistic," and I was like, "Hey, man, there have been a lot of really great autistic football players.
Yeah,
a lot." And I'm not being sarcastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there have been. And I was like, and coaches, I was like, look at Jim Harbaugh. He's both.
Come on. Yeah.
And if that man is not on the spectrum, then nobody is.
For real. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so
I'm not gonna argue that.
Well, I don't know where this podcast got out of hand immediately.
It did. Yeah.
That escalated quickly, John. We said enough incendiary stuff for like 3 podcasts in under 5 minutes. I don't know.
We should probably maybe we should
dial it back.
Redirect. Yeah, let's dial it back.
Hey, the weather. No.
Man, I mean, I'm in the South, like it's hard. It's hard not to.
That is rough. It was a crisp 46, feels like 42 here today in the cloudiness. Which nice. You know me, I like a cloudy day.
I know. It was beautiful, sunny here, like 53 degrees. So and the leaves are still on the trees here, so that's nice.
Oh yeah, we've still got more leaves on the trees than you'd think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No big windstorms yet or anything like that.
Not really.
Okay.
It's not like barren yet. Like when you get there, you still can see some colors and stuff.
Okay, cool. Nice. Well, good.
Right.
Yeah. But I want to talk just briefly 1 second about the just a little bit about the Michigan and the USC thing, because I know I wasn't able to weigh in on that.
Oh yeah.
And I just want, and literally just like 2 seconds. I don't think anything is going to happen inevitably. I think that because both the USC and Michigan are at their interim presidents, that by
Right.
the time they get their new presidents, and I was listening to friend of the pod, JR from Big Ten Huddle,
Yeah.
and he made the point saying, Michigan's president was actually the previous president was one of the biggest, I guess, supporters of this current agreement with the Big Ten that they want to move forward on. And it's only this, why am I forgetting his first name? Acker, whatever his name is. Jordan Acker? Jordan Acker.
Yeah.
He seems to just be a very loud voice, but like a very much a minority.
Michigan's not leaving the Big Ten.
No, they're not. And it's
like,
all just
come on.
It's a big scare tactic. And the fact is, like, Jordan Acker's not even going to be on the Board of Regents by the time any of this takes place in 2036.
Right.
And like they're going to have a new president here soon enough. And same thing with USC. So I assume once that all happens, this is all going to settle and nobody's, they'll figure it out in whatever way possible. And it's going to be nothing, a whole lot of nothing. So anyway, that's all. I'm not going to read into it too much. I understand where both universities are coming from to a degree.
I mean,
USC
I don't understand the fact that USC thinks they should be a top tier team. You are not a top tier revenue team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
USC, you are not Ohio State. You are not Michigan.
Well, and you're not Notre Dame. You're not going to have the same level of success as an independent if you think you're going to compete at the same level as Notre Dame. And I hate Notre Dame. We hate Notre Dame. We're not a fan.
Loathe Notre Dame.
But the reality
big national brand though.
They're huge.
Yeah.
And USC, you can't even come close to the same level. That's just the reality of it. I understand the desire and like wanting to compete. This is your main rival in all of college football, so you want to think of yourself that way. I get it. And you are a major brand, no doubt. The Trojans are a major brand.
Yeah, no, USC is a major brand, but you're a lot closer. You're a lot closer to being Penn State than you are Ohio State.
Agreed. Yep. Yeah.
You are much closer to that, and that's the reality. Sorry.
So no. And so that was the point I was going to make too. Like you said, the fact that they think they should be getting tier 1 on the same level of Ohio State is not not yet. Maybe that can change.
Not ever. They're never going to be. USC could win the next 2 national titles. They are never, ever, ever going to be the brand Ohio State is. Ever.
Yeah. So, just wanted to mention that. That's my 2 cents on the whole thing. I wanted to talk about it a little bit, and that's all I'll say about it. I think it's inevitably going to just be a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
So,
I felt a little better as much as it's. I think I don't like having it unequal revenue sharing, but the teams in the bottom tier are still getting a lot of money.
Yes.
And I feel better about that knowing. I thought it was going to be even more lopsided than it is.
Mm-hmm.
It more like the ACC model, which is super lopsided. So like, I'm glad that there's some reasonability because like, here's the thing. The better the bottom and middle of the Big Ten is, the better it is for the top teams in the Big Ten.
100%.
Because is it harder to win? Sure. But you get a lot more credit for doing so.
Mm-hmm.
And when your teams, the teams you play against every week, go out of conference and they dominate, that's good for your perception.
Yep.
It just
100%.
So you're better off. There's a reason why the SEC and the Big Ten are trying to bring up all the schools, not just some of them. They're not leaving schools behind like the ACC is.
And it's so evident of how scared the SEC and especially, ESPN is of this deal because I'm sure they know that essentially in some certain ways, this might strengthen the Big Ten even more so and make them more competitive across the board. And the SEC does not want that. And that's why they continue to rip apart all of this and claim that the Big Ten is ruining college football as we know it. And not to say, I'm not trying to sit here and say the Big Ten is innocent and making some serious mistakes.
No, but the SEC doesn't get to accuse anybody of anything.
No, they don't.
Nothing.
And like Peter Burns, of course,
you broke it. Biggest... You got Texas and Oklahoma. You started this. I don't want to hear it from the SEC.
Let's go even further back with this whole SEC bias bullshit thing that we've continued to harp on
for 20 years now. It's been this is year 20 of this.
Yeah, ESPN started this 20 plus years ago. You started.
It was 2006. It was 2006. That was when it started.
So you guys started ruining college football back then by starting to play favorites and fixing the AP poll and the college football playoff and whatever, the BCS, all that
controlling the narrative and being dishonest about it. Sending out your pundits. I remember the very first, when they started the 4-team playoff, the very first mock ballot ever, a bunch of ESPN personalities had 4 SEC teams in. 4.
Yeah.
4 out of 4. At a time when the SEC was not at all. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. These changes that have happened is due to a reaction from the Big Ten and this continued narrative and the Big Ten having to realize that we have to do something to change this by acquiring bigger brands. And so there can be no, argument, or at least less of an argument. But you also did start this by acquiring Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, the first shots, you fired the first shot. Yeah. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. So it's all again, it's just a continuation of the false narrative and trying to disparage the Big Ten as like, oh, we're the Big Ten's the big bad wolf. And it's just not true. It's just absolutely not true. Not saying, again, not to say the Big Ten is innocent and hasn't made some choices and their way of reacting is like my ideal way for college football and the way that it's going to be going. No, but we wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for ESPN and the SEC, period.
I almost made a comparison to global politics, but then I realized we've lost enough listeners potentially for one episode, so I decided to rein it in.
Yeah.
So good for me for using discretion is sometimes the better part of valor.
There you go.
So we can talk offline about that, but yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Enough of that. Now we can talk about the games. Let's
talk football.
Yes.
Do we have to?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to talk at length. This might be a shorter pod, I guess, maybe, but yeah.
I don't know if it is. So first up, we had the 9-1 number 8 Oregon Ducks 42, the 6-4 Minnesota Golden Gophers 13. John, here are some stats from this game. Oregon had 27 first downs. Minnesota had 13. Oregon had 510 yards. Minnesota had 200. Oregon had 179 yards rushing. Minnesota had 62. 62 yards rushing on 24 carries for 2.6 yards a rush, while Oregon ran for 6 yards per play, which is actually worse than they usually do running. They've been more averaging like 8.5 yards a rush. So I guess good for us. But Dante Moore went 27 for 30. And here's why I'm angry. Minnesota had a bye week to get ready for this game. Minnesota had 13 days to prepare, to get rested, to get healthy, and they did get healthy. They put out the healthiest team they put out all year.
Yeah. Darius looked better than he's looked all season.
Darius looked better than he has all season.
Yep.
All season. And despite that, there were 3 blown coverages on the first drive. And I don't mean like the corner was there or the safety was there and they got beat. I mean like there was no one covering the receiver. Blown coverages, missed coverages. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
And that was a common theme throughout the game. And to have 13 days to get ready, I'm sorry. And I'm you know what? We're going, it's an incendiary pod anyway. I'm going to say it. You don't fire Danny Collins because he's a great coach. He's a great program guy, and he's the best recruiter we have on staff. So you don't fire him. But what you do in the offseason is you sit Danny down and say, hey, Danny, we're going to bring in a co-defensive coordinator. So you are still in charge of helping to draw up the scheme and figure out what we're doing. But on game day, you're not calling the plays anymore. The new guy we bring in is going to do that, and he's also going to have veto power in practice. Because what Danny Collins is doing, Minnesota under PJ Fleck has been, you know what? Not just under PJ Fleck. Going back to Jerry Kill, Minnesota has been fantastic in the secondary over the years.
Sure. Yep.
Really good corners, even better safeties for the most part.
Yep.
This is the least not talented. I think the talent is there. It's the least well coached. It's the worst coached secondary.
Yeah.
that we've had in the entire, like, since Glenn Mason. Since the later Glenn Mason years.
Yeah.
When the secondary fell off a cliff. And then under Tim Brewster, it stayed the same. So since Tim Brewster.
Sure.
This is the worst stretch of DB play this season I've seen. And I'm sorry, that's on the defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It might be a Brian Hartline thing. Remember a couple of years ago, they tried to make Brian Hartline the OC, and Ryan Day took back play calling responsibilities from him after a couple games. And then they brought in Chip Kelly the next year to mentor him.
Mm-hmm.
And now Brian Hartline's ready.
Yep.
And doing a great job. Danny Collins is like 35.
Yeah.
He might just not be ready yet.
Yeah.
It might not be that he's never ready, but he's not ready yet. He's not ready for prime time. Not now. He's not. Coy Parrish looks confused.
Mm-hmm.
He looks confused on the regular this year. Coy Parrish never looked confused last year.
Mm-hmm.
Our cornerbacks are missing assignments in a way, again, that I have not seen since Tim Brewster. I'm really upset about it. And I think you can talk about the offense being more efficient and you can talk about everything else. But to me, blown coverages and making tackles in space are the biggest issues we've had this year. And I'd also say this is hands down since 2017. So since year 2 of PJ Fleck, this is the least physical PJ Fleck team we've ever had.
And that's the point I was really going to bring out on both sides of the ball, frankly, is the lack of physicality is just, it's not something I'm used to seeing under Fleck. I don't think it's ever, I've never seen it look like this. I mean, maybe
and under both Kill and Fleck, we've been very physical teams.
Yeah, it like maybe PJ's first year, but I don't really recall, unfortunately.
Yeah, the first year we got pushed around. We did.
But since then, no. Like, and this is what that's what bothers me the most. I mean, look, obviously there's a lot of critiques. There's a lot of things that bother me, but the fact that we are lacking physicality is embarrassing.
It's pathetic. It's not football.
But what bothers me the most is it's not that we haven't seen it. We did it against Nebraska. Now, Nebraska, of course, is not Oregon. They're not Ohio State. They're not Iowa,
but we beat them like redheaded stepchildren.
And we were because we were
physically. We made tackles in space. Yes. We sacked the quarterback. We attacked.
They didn't score a single touchdown. Like,
not one.
We dominated them everywhere physically. And I'm not used to seeing that. If nothing else, if we lose games, it's not because we're just so inferior in the physicality department. And that's what
usually if we lose games, it's because the other team had a couple more better athletes than we did.
Yeah. And look, and I want to bring up the point, Ohio State, Oregon are what, 1 and 2 on defense, and Iowa was like, and Iowa's like number 6. Yeah. So like
those teams are ridiculous defensively.
Insanely talented teams with it's just like the players that we can't compete with right now. But still, aside from that, like we should still show that we are trying to be more physical than what we've shown to be, and that's what bothers me is more than anything. I mean, yes, I know the defensive play calling and all that kind of stuff, and there's lots of other issues we're going to talk about, but that's the thing that stands out to me the most, and the tackling, and that's goes hand in hand with tackling. And this is. Last year we had issues tackling. This year it seems like we're having issues tackling, and I'm not. And like, why is that not being addressed? It's like,
I thought we tackled pretty well last year overall.
I felt that. I don't know. There were games, I guess, that it stood out to me that it seemed problematic. I mean, obviously North Carolina is number 1, and yes, they had an NFL talent running back, so I get that. But this year it just seems very more apparent.
This year it's been worse. It's been worse.
It's like
we are much better under Heatherman than we have been under Collins.
Yeah.
Much better.
Even under Joe Rossi, man, like our tackling was always solid. We were sound.
You know what's going to be interesting? When Joe Rossi gets fired, because he is going to get fired.
Yeah.
Do you think PJ gives him a job as an analyst or something?
I don't know. Does Rossi want that? Does he want to go make his own?
What are his options going to be, man? He's failed badly.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to have a bunch of people at his door saying, "Hey, I want you to run my defense," after what's happened the last 2 years in East Lansing.
Yeah, it's hard unless he goes down to like the MAC or something like that. You know,
Yeah, but he
I
doesn't
don't
want
know.
to do that. He left here because he wanted to be closer to being a head
Yeah,
coach.
I know. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure.
I
I'm
would
not
watch for
sure.
that. I would watch
Yeah,
for that. That'd be interesting because PJ still says very nice things about him publicly when he comes up.
yeah. Well, they were
So, like, I
friends.
don't think
Yeah.
that bridge is burned, but you can't make him the DC again either after what happened in
No.
Michigan State.
No. Well, and honestly, and how it ended here with him, like
Yeah,
he was.
2023 was the worst defense we had under
It was
him.
not good. Yeah,
It was
exactly.
bad.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man. I don't know. But yeah, man, defense is weird. And because I don't think it's lack of talent. There is talent on this defense. It's definitely play calling and coaching essentially. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's really
The
disappointing.
guys just
But
aren't in the right positions, and that
mhm,
speaks to coaching and preparedness.
yeah, yep,
And I wonder if Danny Collins isn't asking them to do too much out there
could be, could
because
be.
guys look like guys are playing slow. And
Well,
you play slow against a team like Oregon, it's death. It's death.
mhm.
Like you
Well,
against the teams that are truly fast, like Oregon is, you have to play your fastest every snap to be in that game.
and I think it's just also like it's a lack of aggression in certain situations as well that I'm
Yeah.
not you know because that's what Heatherman did when we were playing against offenses that were
He was like,
better
F it,
than
we're blitzing.
yeah, we're going after you and we're going to
Yeah.
blitz the shit out of your freaking quarterback until he gets too scared or he gets unsettled and he gets pressured. And that's what he did. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But like,
To
what are you going to do?
to be fair, Minnesota is, I think, still leading the Big Ten in sacks.
They are.
So it's not like we're not getting pressure, but we're
Mhm,
not tackling in space and we blow coverages all the time.
mhm.
And that's on Danny Collins, man.
Yeah, no, you're right.
On
You're
Danny
right.
Collins. And it's
And I
just
love Danny and I don't
I
want him
love
going
Danny
anywhere.
Collins. I love him and I want to keep him because he recruits amazingly and he develops safeties really well.
Mhm.
You know, but like he can't be the one calling the plays and deciding how much scheme goes into the
Yeah,
playbook.
agreed.
We need to bring in someone in the offseason to replace that. I thought,
Yep.
dude, I know Drake Lindsey's stats weren't great, but I thought he looked a lot more poised. 19 for 32. Yeah, the yards per attempt weren't good. 1 TD, 0 picks. I thought he looked a lot more poised. I thought Drake looked significantly better than he did against Iowa
Yeah.
or Ohio State.
Well, there's one thing about Drake, man, is he does know how to protect the ball.
Yeah.
Yes, is he putting up stats that makes you just like, he looks absolutely incredible all the time? No, but he's smart. He's a
Yeah.
very smart quarterback. He makes good reads, I think, overall, and he just doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He may not win you the game all the time, but he doesn't lose it for you more often than not.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal.
And also, to be fair, Oregon fans, I know I'm focusing on the Minnesota aspect of it. Oregon was amazing. Dante
Yep.
Moore, 27 for 30, 300 yards, 10.2 yards per attempt, 2 TDs, 0 picks, 91.4 QBR, which honestly at 27 for 30, 91.4 probably is lower than it should be as a grade. That should probably be like a 97 or 98.
Yeah. Yeah.
Noah Whittington, 9 yards per attempt and a touchdown. Jordan Davison, 8 yards per attempt and 2 touchdowns. And then Kenyon Sadiq at tight end, man, he came back today and he was a big difference in that game. He had, it looked like Dante Moore missed him on that wheel route early in the game that he caught on the 1 yard line, but he stretched out, extended his entire body, pulled it in. I mean, Kenyon Sadiq, he's a fluid, impressive, gigantic athlete. I mean, guys like that, they don't build a lot of guys like him.
He's a wide receiver with a tight end's body and
with a tight end's body,
strength.
but the way he moves is wide receiver-ish.
That's what he's terrifying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. He's ridiculous. And their backup's good too.
Yeah.
So like Oregon is, and the defense is even better. Oregon's defense is as good as advertised. Only 2 sacks on the day, 5 tackles for loss, but they did have 5 passes defended. And they just generally made it hard for Minnesota to do what it wanted to do.
Yep.
I'm upset with the thing. The thing is, in 9 years, I think that's as angry as I've ever seen PJ look on the sidelines. And a couple of them was the terrible calls because Oregon had not 1, but 2 touchdowns that should have not been called touchdowns. The catch in the back of the end zone where his foot was clearly out of bounds. clearly. And they said he got a toe in. Yeah, but the rest of his foot was out, man. That's the rule. The rule isn't part of this isn't soccer. The rule isn't that part of you needs to be in. The rule is that all of you needs to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the running back who bobbled the ball through the whole end zone never had control of it, and they instead of a touchback. So that should have been a touchback and a field goal instead of 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Now, Minnesota wasn't going to win the game anyway.
Yeah.
But if you turn that 14 points into 3, it's a close game well into the second half. And it's time for these refs to take it, man. I'm sorry. You don't need to favor the team that's going to win anyway. You need to stop doing it. It's hurting the game.
Need any favors,
it's hurting the game.
Yeah.
Dan Lanning doesn't need your help. He doesn't need it.
No. And
I'm tired of you giving it to him. I'm tired of it.
That goes for everyone out there. With the
goes for Michigan. That goes for Penn State. That goes for USC. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of y'all getting the calls.
Yep. You don't need it.
You don't need them. You don't need them. You'll be fine. You'll be fine without them. You can play a fair game and still win most of the time.
Yep.
But it has to be a fair game because it takes the integrity away from it.
Yeah.
Now, PJ did come out subsequent to the game and say that he talked to the Big Ten office and that made him feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And they better have apologized to him.
Yeah.
Because there's just no excuse for it. And he better have said, hey, we play Northwestern on Saturday and we better not get that kind of treatment.
And for all of those who are going to critique PJ and all that for this, like we would feel the same way if your team and your head coach were having the same complaints because it was valid. Because
it was obvious, because it was 2 touchdowns that should have been, I mean, and that's just a microcosm of the whole game, man. Yeah, there were a lot of other calls that were iffy that went Oregon's way.
Yeah, so anybody who wants to call PJ a crybaby for doing this,
you have to do that as a coach, or else you're going to get walked.
You have to. Absolutely.
You have to advocate
your coach
for your
should have done the same had the situation been you've been in the same situation. I would expect.
You look at pro coaches, man, and they do this in the press all the time.
Yep.
NBA basketball coaches especially.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They litigate officiating through the press nonstop because otherwise you will be at the wrong side of it. Although in the NBA it's fixed anyway, right? So it doesn't matter. Dude, it's gonna come out that one of LeBron's titles isn't legit, and it's gonna be the one. It's gonna be the one where he hit Draymond Green in the nuts, when Draymond Green hit him in the nuts and got a full game suspension, which was bullshit.
Yeah,
and they ended up winning that game, going on to win the series when they were down 3-1 and had no chance, and we're gonna get run off anyway. That's my NBA rant. This is college football. I don't know, John. I'm so mad about this Oregon-Minnesota loss that I'm all over the place now with things that upset me.
Yeah.
I might start talking about past relationships at this point. I'm so upset about things because there's just off a bye week. There's no excuse. There's none.
I agree. I wasn't, neither of us were expecting a win, but I expected to be better, play better than we did.
Better than 42-13.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Maybe we should move on then. I don't know.
I think we definitely should move on. I think we probably I'm having a hard time moving on, but obviously. But yeah, we should move on. All right. Next up, we had the number 1 team in the land, the Ohio State Buckeyes, 10-0, undefeated, 48. The 3-7 UCLA Bruins, 10. The Buckeyes put it on them, man. 25 first downs to 8. Doubled them up in yards, 440 to 222. 222 rushing yards to 68 on 6.7 yards per carry to 2.7. And the Buckeyes had the ball 35 minutes to 25 for UCLA. I mean, this was when I saw that Nico wasn't going to play, man, I was like, whatever Ohio State's going to, what it is, take the over.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Buckeyes let off and let up a couple, they let up a couple scores, but I'm not worried about that. I mean, this game was more of a scrimmage than a game.
Well, this is like what you and I have been talking about with Ohio State for almost the entire season. Like, yeah, there's people who are like, well, they're not blowing anybody out. Yeah, but they're never once in danger of losing a freaking game. They're just figuring, like Ryan Day is just playing.
They're load managing. They're load managing.
They're load managing. Ryan Day's just like, I don't know, let's work on this game. Let's work on this over here on this game. Like, and finally he was like, you know what? We want to win a game by running the ball. And they did.
Yeah.
This is what we wanted to see. Both of us were like, hey, I want to see Ohio State like really just use the run game to dominate, to dominate and win. And they did. And we're like, okay, cool. Now they've established that. Great. Moving on. What do we want to work on next week? Like that's what Ryan Day is doing, in my opinion. Like other than when they play Michigan, Michigan will be the only time I think Ryan Day will pull out all the stops and do everything he can to win and blow them out. But hopefully, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe that won't happen. But
Ohio State has 3 really good running backs: Bo Jackson, Isaiah West, James Peoples, and especially man, Bo Jackson, dude.
Yeah,
he's special.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to be a big key if they're going to win a title. If they're going to go back to back, I think he's going to be a big key down the stretch.
Yep.
I think they're going to have to ride him a lot in these games. I think against Michigan, he's going to have a big part to play, and in the Big Ten title game. And so it's exciting to see him play better as a freshman as the year goes on. And Jeremiah Smith, I know he only had 4 catches for 40 yards, but he's the best player in college football.
Mm-hmm.
And Julian Sayin didn't do a ton today, but like Julian Sayin is and should be the Heisman frontrunner.
Yeah.
The man is completing 80% of his passes. And it's not like Ohio State just throws like screen passes and it's not like a Steve Sarkisian offense or something.
No.
You know what I mean? He's throwing the ball downfield with accuracy on time.
Yep.
And yes, he has the receivers to make the plays. That's great. That's awesome. That helps. But Julian Sayin, I think, man, can you believe that when Nick Saban retired, Ohio State got Julian Sayin and Caleb Downs from Alabama?
When
Dude,
I saw that,
can you imagine if Alabama had those guys right now?
Oh my God.
They'd be the ones in the driver's seat for a national title.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So Ohio State, man, when Nick Saban retired, they won. Who won the Nick Saban retirement? Ohio State won. Ohio State won the Nick Saban retirement. They won it going away. You thought it was going to be an SEC team that won. That's what you thought was going to happen. It's not what happened. Ohio State won the Nick Saban retirement.
100%.
Yeah, dude, I'm really the Big Ten title game with Ohio State and Indiana. I was thinking, when's the last time the Big Ten had number 1 and number 2 going into the end of the year? And I think it's probably the 2006, the game when Ohio State was number 1 and Michigan was number 2. And the final score was, I believe, 56-53.
Wow.
And then it was such a good game that they wanted to have there was very close to being a rematch in the national title game.
Damn. I don't remember that. Dang.
Yeah, dude. Okay. And that was 19 years ago. So I think that's the last time that the Big Ten went 1-2 so late in the season as they will with Ohio State and Indiana. Because Indiana's on a bye week and then they've got Purdue. They're not losing.
No.
And I know Ohio State's lost 4 in a row to Michigan, man, but I just don't think it's Ryan Day is a different coach since last year's playoff run started. He's more aggressive. He's more confident, more self-assured, and he has the natty pedigree now to make those ballsy choices when he has to. So I don't know, man. I think the Buckeyes are going to be really hard to stop unless Julian Sayin gets hurt or something. I think they're going to be really hard to stop.
Yeah, man. They're definitely my favorites to win the national title once again. So easily.
Yeah. Should we move on?
Yep.
All right. Next up, we had the number 2 ranked 11-0 Indiana Hoosiers 31. The 3-7 Wisconsin Badgers 7. So this was a close game for a half. And everybody said, oh, and I saw the Gopher fans. They were like, oh, Wisconsin's hanging in tough there with Indiana. They're hanging in there. Here's what I have to say about that. Wisconsin can't score. They can't score. They have scored. If you score 13 or more points, you are going to beat Wisconsin. Because 14 or more, we'll say. Because 13 is the upper limit of what they got. They got 7. And 13 is the upper limit of what they ever get. So if you can score 14 points, you're going to beat Wisconsin. Yes, the defensive line is good. Yes, the run defense is good. The young linebackers, promising. Absolutely. The secondary is god-awful, though. And that offense is the worst Big Ten offense. That this and last year's Purdue are the two worst Big Ten offenses of the 2020s, I think.
And when you put up 168 yards total against
168 yards.
Yeah. I mean, and look, yes.
So not 100 yards rushing or passing.
Nope. 70 yards rushing and 98 yards passing.
98 yards passing. Man, 70 yards rushing on 2.3 yards per attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal.
Yep.
Just absolutely brutal.
But according to a lot of Gopher fans, Minnesota is probably going to lose to, obviously, Northwestern, and most definitely we're going to lose to Wisconsin somehow. I mean, again, I'm not saying it can't happen. It is a rivalry game. In all fairness,
anything. It's college football, man. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Absolutely. I'm not calling it right here, but like, let's look at let's put some context to it and look at it and your ridiculous overreaction to Wisconsin hanging for a half with Indiana is silly.
Here's what I'm going to say also for Gopher fans. Don't let the haters bring you down.
Yep.
Because I still think Minnesota is going to beat Northwestern and Wisconsin. And if they do that, they're going to win the bowl game because PJ Fleck doesn't lose bowl games. And they're going to end up 9-4. And here's what I have to say. If you can't find any moment of enjoyment in a 9-4 college football season, and yes, has it been perfect? No. Have the losses been excruciating? Yes. But if you can't find any fun or enjoyment or joy in a 9-4 season, then you shouldn't cheer for the Gophers anymore. Mm-hmm. You should probably go cheer for Ohio State. There's plenty of room on that bandwagon. Or you should stop doing college football entirely because you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Well, and you look at 98% of the rest of college football. And they're all in very similar boats. And there's also other teams, a ridiculous amount of teams that would kill for Minnesota's record
to be
now.
6-4. Yeah, there are a lot of teams that would kill to be 6-4 right now.
And again, and I understand, like some of the consternation, but like, let's be real here. It's still not bad, man. I mean, we're going bowling. We're going to win 7 to 8 games in the regular season. In my opinion, I think it's like still,
I think we're probably going to win 8. I think we're probably going to win 8.
I think we're probably going to win 8, but I do think bare minimum 7, in my opinion. We're going to win one of Northwestern and Wisconsin.
Or Wisconsin. We're not losing both of those games. Yeah.
Yes. And so I think, I don't know, man. I mean, like we've said before, and like we've said, in one of our chats, it's like, you'd think that this team had only 2 wins on the season right now.
You think they're 2-8 the way people are acting. It's
yeah. Yep.
It's like, and so I'm saying all you Gopher fans out there listening to this podcast, it's okay to enjoy it. Yep. It's okay to go into Northwestern thinking, hey, we have a really good shot to win and we're probably going to win. And it's a really fun game. And like, let's have fun.
Yep.
And like, I know Northwestern's favored, wrong team's favored.
We'll put context to that.
We'll put context to that in the preview. So, which we're also recording tonight. So get excited for that.
Mm-hmm. So sorry, back to Wisconsin.
Yes. Back to Wisconsin.
Indiana. Yeah, man. I mean, look, like it's this Wisconsin defensive line. It looks fantastic. It does look really good. They're really solid. Their linebackers, their freshman linebackers are also very good. So their run defense is fantastic. But you're right, like that. The secondary is not great. Carter Smith is not it. I know
Fernando Mendoza went 22 for 24 for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
22 for 24. That's like you're throwing against the air, man.
Yeah. It's incredible, dude. So
yeah,
there are ways to there's just, I'm just saying that I'm not terribly concerned at this point in time about Wisconsin, but I do think that Wisconsin, obviously they can do some things defensively, but offensively, I still don't see it. They had that one really good play call for that touchdown, which it was a great play call at the right time. And it worked out perfectly for them. But after that,
168 yards in 4 quarters, man.
Yeah. I mean, that was it. That was game. That was the highlight of the whole
that
game
is
right there
32 yards a quarter.
Yeah. So,
or wait, no, 168. I was saying 128. Never mind. Doesn't matter. The point is, it's
Yeah.
not much.
Yeah. So look, Indiana's going to keep rolling. For Fernando Mendoza, I think also should be a Heisman finalist. He's incredible.
42 yards a quarter
Dude.
for 168. Yeah. So under 50 yards a quarter. Just saying.
Yeah.
And in
Well,
the second half, it was worse than that.
Mm-hmm. And can we talk about how also kind of like Ohio State, like Indiana loses their top wide receiver in Surratt. And then Charlie Becker just comes out of nowhere.
Just comes out of nowhere, and he becomes the new number 2 to Omar Cooper, who's also great.
Yeah. Just amazing. I mean,
and you know what? Omar Cooper and Charlie Becker are both Tom Allen recruits. Think about that.
Oh, I did not know
Signetti,
that. Okay.
not only did Signetti bring in a bunch of gold with him, but he spun straw into gold when he got there.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm saying is he's Rumpelstiltskin.
You know, honestly, I see it. I do.
And he just steals from you. He's like, ha, I'm going to win. And he always does. He doesn't ever get his comeuppance. You're just waiting for it to happen. And it's just not going to happen probably, like almost ever.
It's so true. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, Indiana's going to go undefeated. Like,
yeah, they are.
The Hoosiers, let's praise Indiana. Talk about it. Fernando Mendoza. If Julian Sayin doesn't win the Heisman, then Fernando Mendoza deserves to win the Heisman.
100%.
But yeah, Charlie Becker, man, 5 catches, 108 yards, and a touchdown with a 48-yard catch. You know? And dude, Omar Cooper didn't do anything, didn't matter. You know, he had 3 for 39 and a touchdown. He didn't do much outside of he had 1 long catch. Didn't matter. Didn't need him. They just slide other guys in. Somebody named Riley Nowakowski had 4 catches for 65 yards and a score. I didn't even, I'm not saying I didn't realize he was on the roster, but like, I'm just saying Signetti's just pulling guys out of thin air at this point.
Yeah. It's incredible.
And they're all good. They can all ball and they're all ready to go.
Yep.
It's amazing.
He's a miracle worker, man. He really is.
He might be the best coach of our lifetime. I used to think nobody was better than Bill Snyder because it's so hard to recruit to Manhattan, Kansas. And he managed to just bring in a bunch of JUCO guys every year and win like 10 games on the regular.
Yeah.
And
I've been to Manhattan, Kansas, dude, and
there's nothing there.
Desirable place to go. It is not.
Dude, I have a buddy. I know a guy who played for Washington. No, I guess I wouldn't. He wasn't like a good buddy. I knew him. He had played flag football with him. He was older than I was, but he had played for Washington State back in the day. And he said that he was gonna go. That he loved Coach Snyder so much, and the only reason he didn't play for Kansas State was because how bad Manhattan was, and he spent his college years at Washington State in Pullman, and was like, that's how much worse Manhattan. So what Bill Snyder did was nothing short of a miracle. A miracle.
I'd say Bismarck, North Dakota is a more desirable place to visit than Manhattan, Kansas, in my opinion.
Wow, that's a big statement. That's.
I mean, I might be
exaggerating
really a little bit, but not much. I'm dead.
No, I think you're right. I'm sure you're right. Bismarck has some stuff because it's the capital.
Yeah.
Manhattan doesn't have that.
No. So.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Yeah, dude. I think Indiana is gonna have an off week to get healthy, and then I bet you Elijah Surratt comes back. And I mean, any guess what they're gonna put up in against Purdue in 2 weeks? I think another 50 or 60 points like they did last year.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he'll just run it up.
Signetti wants style points because he wants it even if he loses to Ohio State. He wants to still get a bye in the playoff.
Yep.
So it's going to be worth it to him to come out and beat Purdue, grind Purdue into powder.
Yeah, which he will. He's going.
Which he will. Yep. There's no stopping. The talent differential is too big.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Moving right along. Next up, we had this was a game, man. This was a game. The USC Trojans 8-2. It said number 17. I'm not sure what they're ranked now in the new, or I guess the new playoff rankings are coming out like tonight. So we're not sure. So the formerly, we'll say 17 USC Trojans at 8-2. They had 26 points. The Iowa Hawkeyes, 21. The now 6-4 Iowa Hawkeyes, 21. And I assume Iowa with 4 losses will no longer be ranked.
Yeah.
Iowa had them, man.
Yep.
It was 21-10 Iowa at half. They were fully in control. They had gotten some big pass plays. They had run the ball. They'd played great defense. They had them. They had them. And then it was a comedy of errors in the second half. So USC drives down, gets a field goal to start the half. Iowa goes 5 plays and punts. USC has an 82-yard touchdown drive, and 4 plays later, Iowa throws an interception, which USC converts into a touchdown. So they lost their entire 11-point lead in a quarter. They blew it and were behind then, like, by the early fourth quarter. I don't know, man. They just came out flat. They just got flat out beat in the second half. I don't know what to say about it. I know some people were trying to say, oh, Kirk Ferentz should have done this or that, but I just think that USC turned it up a notch, and Iowa wasn't able to ascend to that level in the second half for whatever reason.
I mean,
and Gronowski, man, that interception, that really hurts. That really, really hurts. Without that, they might win the game still.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I also Makai Lemon is just on another level as a receiver, dude.
He's fantastic. He's other than Jeremiah Smith, he's the second best receiver in the country, I think.
Absolutely. And look, and for all of those who decided to troll us just the last couple days, USC fans, on our thoughts and feelings about Mayava a year ago.
Yeah.
Again, just to reestablish for if anybody is listening or re-listening or finding us for the first time so you can hear it from our mouths once again. We've given Mayava his flowers more than once over the last few weeks.
He's been great.
He's
been great.
So Mayava looks fantastic. He knew when to run the ball. He's making a lot smarter choices. And yeah, when you got a guy like Makai Lemon, man, I mean, you can do a lot. So, and that showed, Makai Lemon was making plays all over the field.
10
especially
catches,
in that second half.
153 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
15 yards a catch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, he was half their offense, essentially.
Yep.
By himself. So it was a really impressive second half. And, Iowa, they had a chance at the end. They were driving down. Caden Weechin looked like he had a catch to make it 1st and goal, but he just had his toe barely out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And he was clearly, Iowa fans, it was out of bounds. He was out. But it was close, man. And I think it all hinged on the Gronowski interception.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Gronowski doesn't throw that pick when he does, I think Iowa has a chance to win the game at the end. They probably, they maybe do.
Yeah, I just want to know: are Iowa fans going to make T-shirts about his toe being in bounds or out of bounds? Is that going to be the next?
That could be that could be the next thing they get pissed about for the next 2 years for no reason.
Yeah,
in a game they legitimately lost. Yeah. Okay, this is gonna sound like a dig, but is Iowa the best 6-4 team you've ever seen?
I think so. I do.
They're really good, right?
They're really
for
good,
for a team that has 4 losses. They are really good.
Honestly, yeah, I really do. I think that there's a lot of teams out there that I think would get beat. Teams that honestly, I think they beat Michigan.
Yeah.
I think they would be. I mean, I'm trying to think. I think they beat Penn State. I love Penn State. That's not a good example this year.
I mean, they did beat Penn State.
They did beat. Yeah, they did, but it's not a good. Yeah, it's still not a good example. But yeah, man, I do. I agree. I think Iowa is really good. I think they're going to finish out the season strong. I think Nebraska is going to get. Again, I think it's going to be very similar to how Nebraska played against Minnesota. I think Iowa's going to dominate them physically.
Iowa's going to run Nebraska off the field.
Yeah.
I don't see how that game is even competitive, honestly.
No. No, I think if Gronowski's healthy and Kamara Milton and Jazz Patterson, I think that in that offensive line, dude, I mean, they will just shove them around like rag dolls until there's nothing left and grind them into powder. Yeah. So, yep.
Yeah. That was a good game. That was a big game. It was a big win for Lincoln Riley.
Absolutely.
He called it a culture win. I think it
Mhm.
was. They hung in there. They played
Yep.
tough. They stuck to their identity. They were who they were, and they managed to get it done. You know.
Well, and he kept it as balanced as possible. I mean, King Miller got 19 carries and 83 yards. I mean, it wasn't like anything.
He didn't light it
huge.
up, but he kept the defense honest.
Exactly. And so, you got to give Lincoln Riley credit for that. He didn't just continue to throw the ball a million times. Like he really was able, he switched it up and like you said, kept Iowa's defense honest, which you got to do, man. So good job. Good win for Lincoln Riley. Absolutely. I'm going to give him credit on this one for sure.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we had we'll say formerly number 18 Michigan Wolverines at 8-2, number 18, 24. The 5-5 Northwestern Wildcats 22. John, Michigan tried as hard as they could to lose this game.
Boy, did they.
They turned it over 5 times. 5 times to 0 for Northwestern. 5 separate turnovers, 2 picks, 3 fumbles lost. I mean, to do that and still win the game is crazy. But then you look at it and it makes sense because Michigan had 500 yards. Northwestern had 245.
Yeah.
Michigan had 216 yards rushing. Northwestern had 61. And you know what? You know what Sharon Moore did? Honestly, John? He did not run the ball enough.
Yep.
He didn't run the ball enough. He threw it 27 times. Or sorry. He
32.
threw it 32 times.
Yeah.
And let's see, where's the rushing numbers? And 45. Rushing attempts 45, and it still wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because Northwestern couldn't do anything about it, and Bryce Underwood was making mistakes.
Yep.
So, Michigan dominated this game in every possible way, and yet Northwestern should have won the game. Be based on all those turnovers.
Even at the end of the game, like minutes left to go. And what was there also? There was like 1 or 2 turnovers, like right in the fourth quarter. Like,
yes,
Northwestern just couldn't capitalize. And then Michigan kept giving them opportunities.
Yeah, Michigan had, in the fourth quarter, Michigan had 2 interceptions and a fumble. In the fourth quarter alone, 2 interceptions and a fumble.
Yeah. He was literally handing Northwestern the ball, being like, hey, you can do this. I believe in you. And they just couldn't.
And the other end, and not only that, Michigan missed 2 field goals. So that's like 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
That's essentially 7 turnovers. And Northwestern still lost. And yet, Gopher fans want me to say that I'm scared of Northwestern now. Look, I respect Northwestern. Yes. I think it'll be a tough game. Caleb Komalafe is a good back. The defensive line is good or whatever. But let's not pretend like this Michigan game makes them world beaters. 7 de facto turnovers, and Michigan still won.
Yeah.
And Preston Stone is still Preston Stone, doing Preston Stone things.
Yeah, I mean, they had a total of 245
13 for
yards.
27.
Yeah.
Not going to get it done.
No, and Komalafe, only 31 yards on 12 carries, man. 2.6 yard average. I mean, like, look, I think, Northwestern is super tough. Like, they are a tough team. They fight hard.
Yeah, they play hard. They're not
doubt.
athletic.
No. And I think, and again, this isn't, in my opinion, a fantastic Michigan team either. Like, this is not
it's not a vintage Michigan team,
no. No. They've got some talent, obviously, but I still don't think that this is anywhere near as good as their ranking, to be honest.
This isn't a Harbaugh level team.
No. So, it was a very interesting game. Northwestern had their opportunities, couldn't capitalize, and unfortunately for the Cats, they weren't able to take advantage when they had their opportunities, and they had plenty. to put the game away, and they just couldn't do it. And Michigan, was finally able to make a field goal to put it away. So, you know, um, it's just Northwestern's got a long way to go. Preston Stone wasn't like, he protected the ball, but he was not great. And their run
They
game
couldn't
wasn't
run the
that
ball.
impressive.
They
Yeah.
couldn't run the ball at all.
Yeah.
At all.
You got to look out for Griffin Wilde. You got to, he definitely made some impressive catches, even though he wasn't their leading receiver. He's dangerous for sure.
Yeah, he is. He's dangerous, but like he's not. You can't make the whole passing offense out of him and expect to be super effective.
No, and Preston Stone throws up a lot of 50-50 balls. So
a lot of balls up for grabs.
Yeah.
A lot of
So we'll
balls
see.
for opportunistic D-backs to grab.
Yeah, but hey, man, Michigan stuck with it. Was able to pull out the win at the end, despite their best efforts to lose.
Yeah, that is what happened. All right. Next up, we might go through these last three a little quicker just because we still have to do the preview pod after this. We had the 4-6 Penn State Nittany Lions 28, the Michigan State Spartans 10. This was a lopsided game, pretty much throughout. It was only 367 yards to 229. So it was fairly lopsided that way. Penn State, they had the same amount of passing yards, but Penn State only needed 13 attempts to get there. Michigan State needed twice as much to get to that 127, 128 yards passing. And then it was the rushing game, man. It was Penn State. That's what they do. They ran for 240 yards, almost 5 yards per carry. They had the ball for over 37 minutes. That's how Penn State needs to win games. They were the more athletic team. They were the more physical team. They got the job done. They put Sparty down and kept him down. I thought it was a good win for a Penn State team that's been through a lot this year to bounce back from that Indiana loss at the last moment and play this well against Michigan State. I thought spoke to Penn State's resilience. So good for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think, they finally got that running game looking good. Katron Allen definitely, was the star of the game. He looked a lot better. His vision was fantastic. He really was seeing the holes and had was doing. I was impressed with him.
181 yards and 2 scores.
That's a big deal. 7.2 yard average, man.
That's big.
Yeah, that's really big. So, I know it took essentially until the fourth quarter for Penn State to pull it away, but I got to give credit to Sparty's defense though on holding out for that long. They did. Their defensive line looked better. I know they still allowed.
Their defense has played better in recent weeks, to be fair.
I feel like they have. I feel like they're looking a little better now. Ethan Grunkmeyer is not fantastic. He holds the ball for far too long. Yeah. Well, he holds the ball for too long, and he's very indecisive in my opinion. But he didn't need to be that great, so that's fine. But yeah, man. And Penn State's defense, dude. Deny Dennis Sutton, man.
Oh man, he's special.
He's so special and terrifying. Did he have 1 or 2 blocked punts? 1, right? At least 1. I know that.
Yes, I believe he did block a punt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also had 2. He also had 2 sacks.
Yes. So, dude, he's a freak. He's so hard to stop.
Yeah.
And I think Penn State could still win 6 games. For real.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
They could still make a bowl.
Yeah.
They just got to beat Nebraska, right? Because who do they end the year against again?
Hold on. Let me look.
Because if they can just beat Nebraska, I feel like they can get to 6
Rutgers,
yeah, and they could beat Rutgers.
Yeah.
So, dude, Penn State could still make a bowl game after the year they've had, which I think would be a testament to those players for hanging in there and keeping at it.
Yep. I think so too. So good win. Good win for the Lions, man. Good for them.
After this game, Maryland announced that Mike Locksley will return as head coach in 2026. So we can talk about, I think that just comes down to the fact that there aren't enough coaches to go around this year.
Which is true.
And and they want to keep Malik Washington. And keeping Locksley allows them to keep Malik Washington and some of those young freshmen he recruited. So I think it's probably the right decision. That said, in this game, we had the 7-3 Illinois Fighting Illini 24, the 4-6 Maryland Terrapins 6. So I think, this was a dominating game. Luke Altmaier played okay, not his best game. 172 yards, just under 7 yards per attempt, 2 TDs and a pick. So did pretty well, but it was all about the running game. I mean, Illinois ran for 225 yards on almost 5 yards per carry. Caden Fagan had a nice day. Luke Altmaier had a nice day running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And, they got enough. Hudson Clement, 2 touchdowns.
He
So
looked good.
even though he only had 3 catches, he made the best of it. And then Hank Beatty could not get going, but it was not a big deal. And then on Maryland's side, man, it's just they can't run the ball at all. And they get behind quickly. And then it's, Malik Washington throwing the ball 46 times for 5 yards per attempt, 0 TDs and a pick. And, I would say that at this point, it's fair to say that Maryland's receivers are not as good this year as they've been in past years.
No. There's no Prather. There's no
Yeah,
Dalton.
I think Shalik Knotts is all right, but it's just I don't think those guys are great as a whole. They're not. You expect elite wide receiver play from a Mike Locksley offense, and we have not gotten it this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. For sure.
So I don't have a ton to say about this one, man. Illinois did what they had to do. They didn't really attack much on defense, but they did have 9 passes defended, which is really impressive. You rarely see that many in one game. So Illinois, they were kind of sort of quietly held Maryland down. They just kind of strangled them. 6 points only.
Well, this was a very physical game from Illinois, and that's what
Yes.
I would like to see. I like to see that this looked like a vintage Brett Bielema football team. Like they were very physical. They ran the ball well enough. They were pushing them around. It looked like a Bielema special. It wasn't nothing super fancy, but well in control the entire time. So good win for Illinois.
Yeah, I feel like Illinois should be ranked in the new playoff rankings again. I think they should be back into the top 25 at 7-3.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they deserve that. I think they've been good enough. They've still played Ohio State tougher than anybody else has all year.
Yeah, totally true, man.
I know Texas was closer, but Texas didn't look like they were ever going to score against Ohio State until they got one blown coverage in the fourth quarter when the game was over.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I
agree.
I don't know. I mean, Illinois, other than Texas, I guess, is the only team that's made Ohio State sweat at all. So good for Illinois. Good for Brett Bielema at 7-3. He can still get to 9-3 and win a bowl game to get to 10. And then you go back-to-back 10-win years at Illinois in what is traditionally a basketball school. That's a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
I know Kurt Signetti's getting all the attention right now, and rightfully so, but Bielema deserves credit for what he's doing.
For sure, man. Absolutely.
All right, last up, we had the 7-3 Washington Huskies 49, the 2-9 Purdue Boilermakers 13. This wasn't a game. It was 28-0 at half. Washington is one team at home, John, and they are another team on the road. And the home Washington team is very good. Damon Williams, 16 of 19, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns for a QBR of 86. Jordan Washington went over 100 yards rushing on just 5 carries with a 68-yard long. Adam Muhammad, only 3.5 yards per attempt, but he had 3 touchdowns and 59 yards. And Washington rushed for 212 yards to 100 for Purdue. And almost 300 yards passing to half that for Purdue. I don't think, I honestly thought Ryan Brown was better than Malachi Singleton. I'm not sure why they made that switch.
Yeah, I'm not either. It's confusing to me.
I don't think Singleton's the better runner, but I don't think he can throw it as well as Ryan Brown.
No.
So I don't know what Barry Odom is doing there exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a little perplexed by it, and I do think Indiana's going to score a Old Testament amount of points.
Yep.
Just going to be biblical against them in that last game. But Washington, man, credit them. The Huskies 7-3. They're probably not going to beat Oregon, but they have a chance to get to 8 wins in the regular season. I think Jed Fish is doing a decent job. It's just they're not great, but they're very good. So yeah.
Well, one thing, Washington center needs to get things under control, though. Those 2 bad snaps in the first quarter were just
unacceptable,
inexcusable.
bad, unacceptably. I mean, the first one that the Purdue guy caught in stride was, I mean, that wasn't even close.
That was so horrible. Like, so get that under control, and then you'll be fine. But like, geez, man,
that was rough.
Like, that was really bad. But in last question, so obviously, yeah, Washington fans will be happy with 8-4. But do you think people down in Tallahassee, or not Tallahassee, Gainesville, are going to be happy with 8-4?
No.
You don't think that? Okay.
No.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering, like, do you think, like, Jed Fish is like endearing himself to people in Florida?
I don't think so, but I also think Florida might find out that they're not as high on the list of jobs as they thought they were, because I don't think they're getting Lane Kiffin. No. And if Florida doesn't get Lane Kiffin, then what does Florida do? They have to hire somebody. Mm-hmm. So it could get to Jed Fish, but no one's the only person who's going to be happy about it is Jed Fish and his family. Washington fans will be upset. Florida fans will be upset if that's where it gets to. Yeah. So you might have fired Billy Napier just to have a PR disaster anyway. I don't know.
Yep. We'll see.
Yeah.
Cool. All right,
man. Well, any other thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I think as far as those slated games, I'm glad that week is over.
Yes,
to be honest with you,
it was painful.
I actually have a hope for the next 2 weeks, so that's nice.
Yes.
But yeah, man. No, if you want to find We Live for Saturday, you can find us on here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Podcast Addict. You can find us on Twitter at We Live for B1G Sat. You can find Mike at Alibaba26. You can find me, John, at Norwegian Gopher. You can email us, We Live for Saturday, b1g@gmail.com. Please like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, especially here on YouTube. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, and we're getting close. We are at 279 subscribers as of now on YouTube, which means we are within 21 subscribers of John and I have decided that we're going to have once we get to 300 subscribers, we are going to have a 300 the movie themed episode. Haven't totally figured out how that's going to work yet. That's going to be an off-season thing. But early in the off-season, if we can get there, we are going to have a 300 themed episode. That's a promise.
Do we have to come out with our shirts off and like 6-packs and like CGI, like massive muscles?
I don't know if we have the budget for that.
No. Okay. All right.
I don't think so. I think, but we will figure it out. We'll figure out. I think there are enough things between 300 and college football. I think we can make it work.
Yeah, we will. It'll be fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We are about to do the preview episode, so we will see you in the next one, which is going to happen very shortly.